Some of the most breathtaking places on Earth were never actually intended for the general public to witness. They began as private sanctuaries for kings, experimental canvases for visionary artists, or in some rare cases, the physical manifestation of a singular, driving obsession. Over the centuries, these spaces evolved into something far more profound than just a collection of plants and pathways. They became immersive experiences that challenge our perception of reality the very moment we cross their thresholds. Today, we are embarking on a journey through 10 of the most extraordinary gardens in the world, places that don't just redefine beauty, but redefine the relationship between humanity and the natural world. And I promise you, by the time we reach our final destination, your understanding of what a garden can be will be changed forever. Number 10. The High Line, New York City. In the heart of one of the most chaotic metropolises on the planet, there exists a garden that literally rises above the noise of the streets. This is not a traditional park, but a reclaimed, elevated railroad spur that has been transformed into a living, breathing artery of wild flora and urban design. What makes the High Line remarkable is its celebration of the industrial past, where rusted tracks still peek through beds of perennial grasses and native woodland plants. Walking here feels like witnessing a slow-motion takeover of nature over man-made steel, offering a quiet, contemplative path through the towering skyscrapers of Manhattan. It serves as a vital reminder that even in the most concrete-heavy environments, we can find a way to let the earth breathe again. Number 9. Nong Nooch Tropical Botanical Garden, Thailand. This sprawling landscape in Chonburi province was never meant to be a botanical masterpiece. It started as a simple plot of land intended for a fruit plantation. However, the owners were so inspired by the world-class gardens they encountered during their travels that they decided to turn their land into a global showcase of horticultural art. Today, Nong Nooch feels less like a single garden and more like a collection of different worlds existing in perfect, vibrant proximity. You can wander through a meticulously symmetrical French garden, and within minutes find yourself surrounded by a prehistoric landscape filled with life-size dinosaur sculptures and ancient cycads. It is a place of overwhelming scale and ambition, where every corner turned reveals a completely different atmosphere, from tropical density to desert minimalism. Number 8. Gardens by the Bay, Singapore. If you want to see what the future of our planet might look like, you look at the shores of the Marina Reservoir in Singapore. Gardens by the Bay represents the pinnacle of 21st century environmental engineering, where nature is supported by cutting-edge technology to create an alien-like landscape. The most iconic features are the super trees, massive vertical gardens that stand up to 16 stories tall, functioning as air venting ducts, rainwater collectors, and solar energy generators. Inside the Cloud Forest Conservatory, you are greeted by a 115-foot indoor waterfall that mists a man-made mountain covered in rare orchids and pitcher plants. It is a stunning example of how urban planning can move beyond simple greenery and into a realm where the city itself becomes a functioning ecosystem. Number 7. Villa d'Este, Italy. Stepping into the gardens of Villa d'Este in Tivoli is like stepping back into the height of the Italian Renaissance. This garden is a masterclass in the use of water as a musical and architectural element, featuring hundreds of fountains, cascades, and water tunnels that have functioned for centuries using only the laws of gravity. The fountain of the organ once played music through the pressure of water moving through its pipes, a feat of engineering that left royalty in awe hundreds of years ago. The air here is always cool and heavy with the scent of moss and ancient stone, as water flows from every wall and terrace in a symphony of constant motion. It is a place designed to showcase the power of man over the elements, turning a steep hillside into a luxurious, liquid palace of greenery. Number 6. The Desert Botanical Garden, Arizona. Most people associate gardens with lush, rain-soaked landscapes, but this sanctuary in the Sonoran Desert proves that beauty can thrive in the most punishing conditions. Here, the focus shifts from softness to structure, where massive saguaro cacti stand like silent sentinels against a backdrop of red rock buttes. The beauty of this garden is found in the incredible resilience of its inhabitants' plants that have mastered the art of survival with almost no water. As the sun begins to set, The desert light turns the landscape into a canvas of deep purples and fiery oranges, highlighting the intricate textures of the desert flora. It forces you to slow down and appreciate the subtle details of nature, showing that life, in all its forms, finds a way to be magnificent. Number 5. Keukenhof, the Netherlands. Known as the Garden of Europe, Keukenhof is a fleeting masterpiece that only opens its gates for a few weeks each spring. During this short window, over 7 million flower bulbs, including 800 varieties of tulips, bloom in a coordinated explosion of color that stretches as far as the eye can see. The level of precision required to design these patterns is staggering, with gardeners spending months planning every row to ensure the colors transition perfectly as you walk. It feels like nature is performing a grand, scheduled opera, where every petal and stem is exactly where it needs to be to create a perfect image. Because it is so temporary, there is a sense of urgency and appreciation here that you won't find in a garden that stays green all year round. Number 4. The Royal Botanic Gardens, Kew, London. Kew is much more than a beautiful place for a weekend stroll. It is perhaps the most important botanical research center on the face of the earth. Walking through its massive Victorian glasshouses, like the Palm House or the Temperate House, feels like traveling through the history of global exploration. These structures were built to house the exotic treasures brought back by British explorers from the farthest reaches of the empire, often for the first time in history. But beneath the aesthetic beauty lies the Millennium Seed Bank, a global project aimed at protecting the world's plant biodiversity against the threat of extinction. At Kew, you aren't just looking at a collection of plants. You are looking at the insurance policy for the future of life on our planet. Number 3. Butchart Gardens, Canada. The story of Butchart Gardens is a story of profound transformation and the healing power of the earth. Over a century ago, this site was a jagged, exhausted limestone quarry, a scar on the landscape that had been stripped of everything valuable. Instead of abandoning the ruins, Jenny Butchart saw the potential for something beautiful, and she began hauling in topsoil by horse and carriage to fill the empty pit. What resulted is the sunken garden, a verdant paradise of winding paths and flowering shrubs that feels completely secluded from the world above. It is a powerful testament to the idea that no matter how damaged a piece of land might be, it can always be reborn into something extraordinary with enough vision and care. Number 2. The Gardens of Versailles, France. The Gardens of Versailles are not merely a place of leisure. They are a physical manifestation of absolute power and the ego of the Sun King, Louis XIV. Spanning over 800 hectares, every single tree, fountain, and path was designed to demonstrate that even nature itself was subject to the king's will. The scale is almost impossible to comprehend, with grand canals that once hosted miniature warships and fountains that required a massive hydraulic system to operate. Everything is governed by strict geometry and perfect symmetry, creating a sense of order that is both awe-inspiring and slightly intimidating. You don't just walk through Versailles. You experience the weight of history and the architectural ambition of a monarchy that sought to control the very horizon. Number 8. Kenrokuen Garden, Japan. If there is one place on Earth that captures the true essence of spiritual balance, it is Kenrokuen in Kanazawa. The name itself refers to the 6 attributes of a perfect garden: spaciousness, seclusion, artifice, antiquity, use of water, and panoramic views. What makes Kenrokuen the ultimate garden is that it never feels like it is trying to impress you, despite the centuries of meticulous work that have gone into its creation. In the winter, the ancient pine trees are supported by a complex system of ropes called yukitsuri to protect them from the heavy snow, creating a stunning geometric silhouette against the white landscape. In the spring, the cherry blossoms reflect in the ancient ponds, creating a sense of harmony where man-made structures and natural growth become indistinguishable. It is a place that invites silence and reflection, reminding us that the greatest beauty is often found in the space between things, in the quiet moments of balance that the world so rarely provides. These 10 gardens are more than just tourist destinations. They are reminders of what happens when human creativity collaborates with the natural world. They show us that beauty can be designed and controlled, but its most powerful form is the one that makes us stop, take a breath, and feel a part of something much larger than ourselves. And once you have stood in these spaces and felt that connection, you may find that the world outside their gates starts to look a little bit different as well. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of the world's most breathtaking sanctuaries. If you found value in this journey, consider staying with us as we continue to uncover the hidden wonders of our planet that most people never get to see.